I got, finally, it's time. It's time. After Rob, here, forget that thing. Here, there we go. After Rob passed away, I mean, it's been rough. It's been really rough. That was my dude, and it still just hurts. No, Big Rob's not gone. Rob from Ventura, Rob Smith. He's one who put me onto these tapes. That's my boy. He's the one who put George out bad, or changed him to out bad. So to set it up, when it comes to George and these tapes, what had happened is Ventura got raided. And when Ventura got raided, they raided most of the members' houses and the clubhouse. The clubhouse, they find I don't know. You can't even call it a usable amount, but that's what they called it, a usable amount. And yeah, I'm hoping Big Rob's going to show up. Like I said, I tried to call him. And he gets busy. That dude is back and forth, nonstop. But anyway, so they raid the clubhouse. They find what they call a usable amount, which is like half a end of a line or something like that. And like Rob from Ventura said, he said if it was usable, we would have used it. But they were a clean charter. So being a clean charter, it's surprising that when they raided George Christie's house, they found a Colombian, Pablo. They found that white powder. Now that guy, I don't know. He's different anyway, right? So he been contacted and don't know why. Or okay. I'll call you right after this for sure. So being a clean charter and having that in his house, that's your first red flag that the dude's kind of a hypocrite, right? His son's in the club at the time. He has made, say being the president, he has stepped down as president right before they get raided. Very weird. They're being raided. He's being investigated because there's a bike frame. The bike frame came from a member of the Cave Creek Charter, Sonny's Charter. Somehow that bike frame ended up in George's son Georgie's possession. Not going to speculate. It's a little heavy of a charge to be speculating on. But I'm just saying those two old men were at war. And one of their club brothers' bike frames ended up at the other's, in his son's possession. Mike Lynch was arrested for having the bike frame to begin with. A lot of people say that George is the one who put him out like that, put him out in the street with the cops. George was known to talk to the cops. And there's got to be a certain amount of diplomacy, right? You got to be able to just cordially shoot the shit when the cops show up, right? But not give up game. In these tapes, you guys will hear it and you can make your own, decisions on it. I'm just trying to set it up so that you guys know what they're talking about in the tapes. They talk about Mike Lynch, and you'll see what George's reaction is to that. They talk about Tom Heath, Tom the Bomb, right? So with Tom the Bomb, he owned a tattoo parlor. Tom got like 10 years in the feds. George bought in for half. Basically, George gave him some money. He's half owner now. He's supposed to take care of the place, keep it up and running for Tom so that Tom has some kind of income while he's in there. Club brother stuff, right? George at some point decides allegedly that he's done having Tom as a partner, and he's either gonna. He told Tom basically, "You're gonna sign it over to me, or I'm gonna shut it down." That's when, I have to be careful of what I say here. Right. That is true, Rebel. He doesn't say, but he does say, you'll hear the cop say it. You'll hear the detective say, well, you know who stole the bike already, right? We already talked about that. And then he goes on to say what will happen, what the repercussions are for selling a hot bike to a member. Like, George puts we'll be stopping the tape throughout. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't mention Mike Lynch's name in this, but did you hear the third tape? The prospect? Hey, George told us, blah, blah, blah. Like, you'll see. You guys will see. First off, he gives up way too much game period to be the president, to be a 40-year member, 35-year member, whatever it is, right? And these are the tapes right here that got Oakland involved. And Oakland has Cisco pen a letter, sent it to the next officers meeting, and asked for George to read it in the officers meeting. In that letter, I only know a little bit of what was in it. Stop orally copulating the police officers in Ventura, basically. George refused to read that letter in the OM. Instead, he laid it down. That's where George walked away from the club. He got out of there without having to fight any of that, whatever. But it happened. That's when they make Rob the president of Ventura, which is not going to be a good thing. And he does it, and then the pressure starts mounting. Why is he still in good standing? This dude talked to the cops. Obviously, he did. This is the day after they were raided. This guy is calling them, and I'll tell you this. Sabian, he throws under the bus. Mike Lynch, he co-signs basically that Mike Lynch stole that or had that bike and gave it to Georgie. Right? He doesn't. No comment when it comes to Tom the Bomb. I wonder why. Because they were trying to get him. There were some hang-arounds and some prospects. Basically, they thought the thing that they should do for George at the time, because another tattoo parlor had opened up right down the way, was they were going to go and they were going to make it disappear. And that's what they went and allegedly may have done. They didn't do it under George's order. George didn't tell them to do it. George would have told them not to do it. And I call a spade a spade. Just because we got into this beef with George, like I always say, Sonny did George wrong. George never did Sonny wrong. And George never put the order in for them to blow up what happened to be probably a federally owned tattoo shop down the way, right? Because they were opening up, doing the same thing they did with Sin City Inc., right? They open a tattoo parlor, undesirables, I guess, go there, and they just start getting after them, buying whatever, selling whatever, stacking up charges. So that's where we're at right here. They find an amount of personal amount, basically, of Pablo's finest nose powder in George's house. They confiscate, of course, all of the phones and laptops and things like that. There is a former prospect that they pull in, and they're questioning him about the bike frame too. And it's because somebody told them that bike frame was at that former prospect's house, along with other maybe allegedly stolen bikes. The prospect holds his mud. He's not even in the club anymore. or he's not even prospecting for the club anymore, and he holds his mud and doesn't give up game. And you guys are going to hear it. You know, you guys will hear all that and make up your own. Right, to keep control, right. They don't give up information on them. That's very true. That's very true. Now, he skirts the line in the beginning, just talking about compromising himself with the cops by having somebody close to the club turn themselves in, and the guy welched on it. Right? You guys will see. Let's get to that. I'm over here paying more attention to that. Roy Roach, huh? Yeah, they have been out a long time, but they haven't been out. You know what I'm saying? Nobody is. They've gotten 1,000 looks, basically. And this is something me and Rob brought this to my attention, and this is something we were going to do together, Rob from Ventura, and we never got to. So I'm doing this for him. You know, he talked a lot about it, and we're very respectful about the way that we go about things, right? Like, I'm not trying to just shit on George Christie. Do I like George Christie? He's pickles on a sandwich, dude. I could do with or without him. I don't give a shit, right? The dude doesn't mean anything to my life. But it drove Rob crazy because this dude would just lie about the simple stuff, and then he would lie about the not so simple stuff. Like, the dude would just put a 10 on it too, and nobody's called him out. And then Rob finally comes out and tells a little bit about the truth, and George goes all off talking about Rob testifying at the grand jury, which happened, but he also told the grand jury that George had nothing to do with them taking out the tattoo shop down the way. So he actually, everybody who's involved in anything they run the risk of being subpoenaed to the grand jury. You absolutely, if you're a part of anything, are usually allowed to testify in the grand jury. It's what you testify to as to whether or not you're still good or not. You know, Rob's transcript, hey, he told them the number one charge George is facing is for that tattoo shop. And Rob got on the stand and cleared him of it. Like, no, he never did that. He never told them to do that. He never would have. And he wouldn't have. You know? Trying to get somebody to take Tom the Bomb out, allegedly, that's a different story, right? Now you're talking about taking out an innocent club brother just so you can get paid, so that you can take what's his. It's pretty rough. So let me pull these tapes up. Let me see where the hell they are. Boom. And we'll start them right here. And then I'll just stop them as we go, I guess. I don't know. I can't watch the what's it called? The comments and do this at the same time. So.
To a climax, the police were looking for him. And they came to me, and I located him. And they basically gave him kind of a stay to turn himself in because, you know, he said he wanted to straighten things out at home and say goodbye to his son because, he knew he was going to be gone at least a year or so. Right. And he promised to turn himself in at a particular point in time, and he didn't do it, and I felt it compromised me. Oh, gotcha.
So right there, can you guys hear it? First of all, can somebody tell me if they hear it, so that I'm not sitting here kind of wasting my time or anything. Right there, he's talking about there's somebody close to the club. He's not in the club, and the guy, he was wanted, right? And they gave him a little bit of time to turn himself in, and he didn't. He welched on it, although, it's so George steps in, and on his word, the cops back off. They have him surrounded in this area, and they're searching for him. George Christie calls the cops, and on his word, the police officers leave the area on George's word, which is crazy to me. But and then George got mad because the kid didn't turn himself in. The guy didn't turn himself in. He got mad and said, "Hey, you're compromising me. How are you compromised?" That's a weird thing to say. To say that not turning yourself into the cops is compromising him. That's George for you, though, I guess, right? So,
I gave my word to the officers that he would be there, and him not being a Hell's Angel, I didn't have the dominion over him that like I do my guys. When my guys tell me they're going to do something, they know they got to do it.
Right.
And he gave me his word as a man that he would do it, and I called over the officers up, and I said, "Hey, look, he said he'll be there," and they kind of had him, I think, cornered in a particular area, and on my word, they backed off, and I'll be honest with you, I was a little bit sour about it.
Right. Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Hey,
first off, how you gonna call the officers up? That's weird too. That's weird to me. Like, you just got them on tap, I guess, like that, where you could just call these dudes, huh? No, he called. That's 100%. He called these officers, and he called back the next day too, while we're talking about it. But he tried to answer him without giving any names. We'll see about that, Rebel. I mean, hey, listen, everybody's going to be all over George, right? George is very charismatic. But the dude steps in it here, and that's why Oakland, he's very tactful, right? George is very Caesar-esque, right? He is his Brutus Cassius, homie. He really is. He is sly. He's slick. He could have been a senator in Rome anytime because he's that guy, right? What is it, Littlefoot on Game of Thrones? That's George Christie right there, in my opinion. But anyway, so yeah, basically I called the cops and told them to back off, and they did. What kind of cops are you dealing with, dude? Not where I'm from. You can't do that. I don't know. I don't know how you have that kind of pull, but good for you.
You had a wiretap on your phone before, right?
Right.
Do you remember getting a phone call from Flamel about a Mongols motorcycle they wanted to steal, or they were talking about stealing?
No.
You don't remember that?
No.
It was late at night one night.
What did he say to me?
He asked you, he told you he needed to talk to you about a bike. And then you said you talked to him in person the next day, so I don't know what he told you about the bike. I just know that that's what he was, from other phone calls, I know that he was calling you about.
Well, I'll tell you.
Uh-huh.
Now you're never going to, they weren't going to catch him on wiretap back in the day. I promise you that. I promise you. That dude wouldn't talk over the phone. He absolutely wouldn't. So, I mean, whoever called him talking about a Mongol's bike, and you guys will see, this is just, basically they're setting it up, though. They're setting it up on the bikes because that's what they were there for. They were there for the missing Cave Creek member's bike, and they found it in his son's possession. So.
Yesterday.
Okay.
He was talking in circles kind of to me about stealing a bike.
Okay.
We have a rule in this community. We frown on bike thefts.
Okay.
Despite whatever you guys think,
That's fucking bullshit. He's putting a 10 on it too. Get the fuck out of here with that, dude. Get out of here with that. They frown on. Come on, man. Come on, buddy. Hey, Rebel, why don't you have something to say about that, buddy? Is that the consensus thought right there? Is in the motorcycle clubs they frown on stealing bikes? You got so much to say about everything else. Yeah. We in this community frown on stealing bikes. Come on, man. I know dudes that had trailers full of stolen bike parts. Get out of here, bro. Fuck out of here with that.
Okay.
Despite whatever you guys think, that's
okay.
the bottom line. Now, as you guys know, I kind of stepped
Yeah.
And that sounded like he just said somebody's name. Mister, he didn't say any names. Basically, he said, hey, basically, I've just been sitting over here minding my business, and like, this is Sabian's fucking show right now, right? It's on Sabian. Like, that's crazy. I wonder what Sabian's got to say about this. You know? Yeah. Yeah, exactly, Dave. Like, no. This wasn't back in George's day. That's just it. Rebel, I'll give you that. You're 100% correct. There's no taking away from this comment right here. Here, this will make the video even. That's 100% accurate right there. Yep. I can't even. You're right. You're 100% right on that. There are worse people in this club still, and there are people that have done way worse than George Christie did. But George Christie called my friend a snitch. You know, George Christie tells the story one way, but it's a completely different other, you know? And the fact is, like, you can't say that he doesn't say names. Like, he just threw Sabian out there. And basically, he pinned everything on Sabian right there. Like, hey, man, this ain't my show anymore. You got a problem with it? Go talk to him. I stepped back. Quite convenient time to step back, too. What's up, Alex? Will be. I see you too, Bubba.
32 years I was, that's long enough.
Right.
But some of the things that I've established, they're still in place, you know.
Right.
And if Mel, let's just say he started to go in that direction with me,
right,
I would tell him absolutely not.
Okay.
And I don't care if it's a Vago's bike, a Mongol's bike.
Does he have to call you before he does that kind of stuff?
No, but he knows it's against the rules.
What?
It's just like people come to me and say, and I'm talking off the record to you, I hope.
Okay.
Hey, you know what? I know, where this Mongol's been hanging out in a bar. We can wait out in the parking lot for him, and I would tell them absolutely not.
Yeah. No, that's good.
And I have told people.
Well, no, I know we've had no problems between you guys here in Ventura.
If it was in Ventura, I believe George Christie's telling the truth right there. He would tell them absolutely not. And George Christie did have a good rapport with the major 1% clubs that were around him. That's a fact too, right? He talked to Doc Cavazos all the time. He went over, talked to Taco, things like that, right? Sure. He's very, like, he did try to bring peace to the club. I get that. But do I think he would tell them not to? I don't know about all that shit, dude. I don't know. George is his answers aren't answers any longer because he's been set up a bunch of times by people around him, right? So he's very, JTB does the same thing from what I understand. He just, if I were to be out there looking and saw something like that, I don't know, maybe I would do this, right? He won't give an order for anything, which is smart, but it is what it is. Mm-hmm. Not in any of these MCs. That's true. That's true. Not in an MC. Never wanted to be. I'm in a different type of thing. But I got a lot of fucking people that I love that are in MCs. I was raised by Well, I was raised by a woman in Mississippi in an orphanage, but my dad, was in the MC. Like, it's always something that I looked at and looked up to until I actually started looking into it and meeting, the people.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, no, that's good.
And I have told people.
Well, no, I know we've had no problems between you guys here in Ventura County, which is...
And I'll say this. George Christie ain't in the motorcycle club anymore either, right? So does that mean he shouldn't be talking about it either? I got a better shot at it. Our status isn't the same when it comes to the clubs. Because, like, I could go into a club. He can't.
Which is nice.
It'll continue to be that way.
That's good.
We don't need any collateral problems with
Now let me ask you about this. Georgie's bike's stolen, right? The Road Glide?
I'm really upset about it because when he got that bike from another member.
Yeah, I know.
That bought it in Ventura.
Yeah. Oh, another member that...
The cops did not know that it was another member from Ventura until right now. Until George Christie just said he got that bike from another member in Ventura. And you heard the cop just say, oh, he got it from another member in Ventura? So, Mike Lynch went to prison for this. Like, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you about that. Like, that dude just he just gave up game right there. He told the detective something he did not know. That is a major piece of Mike Lynch being convicted. I don't know what you call that. I know what I call it. That dude's wild, man. That shit's wild. Make your own assumptions, right? I guess. But that, you just heard the cop go, oh, another member from Ventura? Come on, man.
Remember that.
Another member in Ventura initially bought that bike.
Oh, they did. Okay.
And they got into a financial bind.
Okay.
Georgie took, this is why it's kind of a jackpot for Georgie.
Right.
Georgie bought the bike to get him out of the jackpot.
Uh-huh.
And I'm not even going to mention, who he dealt with on who sold the bike.
Yes.
And that's how you co-sign on, who stole the bike. Right? Like, they're snitching without snitching. Yeah. They're snitching without saying a name. He said, I'm not even going to speak on the dude's name because, like, you already know who stole that bike. That dude's wild. And to set it up, like, Sonny and George have been going at it for so long. There was a member of Ventura that was in a crowded bar in Cave Creek, went outside, was sitting on his bike, and a sniper took him out. Now, there's a lot of people that say he was driving down the road. No, he was on his bike. He was getting ready to take off out of the parking lot. And he was taken out. And he was young. And he was a new member. And he was a member of Ventura. And he was killed at a bar in Cave Creek, full of red and white patches. Now, it was like tit for tat, right? That's what it felt like. There are people that will blame when Laughlin popped off. There was a member that they found on the 40 sitting next to his bike, and he had been sent to the upper room, and his ID was on his seat. He's a member of the red and white. I've talked to both sides that were involved in Laughlin. The other side, the Mongols, we'll just say it, whatever, the Mongols. I talked to some of the very prestigious members, right? They were there when that happened. And they told me two things. They said they didn't hit that guy on the 40. They think He probably got shot in the casino in Laughlin, and was trying to make it out of the area to get to a hospital, which absolutely makes sense. And then he gets off his bike, puts his kickstand down, sits down, and bleeds out, right? That is absolutely a very, very possible thing, because JP from San Francisco, Pee Wee took him all the way to San Francisco to a hospital, and he was hit, you know. And then I asked them about why they dumped Jay off the gurney, and if that was an informant or a federal officer or something, because they dumped him off the ambulance right when they were getting to the ambulance. They dumped the gurney, dump him off, go running back in, and come out with a guy wearing a Mongols patch. Well, the guy holding the Mongols patch that they went back in for was hit like in the back of the head with a wrench, and maybe some of his medulla oblongata was leaking out. And he never recovered. He died like 8 months later in a hospital. And they said that that Jay was already gone, and they made like a game time decision to try and save this other guy. But they said that he was a good member. He was a young member, and he definitely wasn't an informant. That's crazy. You know, I don't know. I don't know whoever asked that about JP. I don't know. Because that dude seems as stand up gets. And they use the term out bad for everything now, right? It's washed up. It's faded. It used to be exactly what it meant. They don't want you to talk to this member, and they don't want him to be able to talk to anybody in the club anymore because you're a piece of, you testified or something like that, right? Now, if they want your t-shirt selling company business, you're out bad now. You know, it's a way. If you kiss another member's mother who is 60-something years old, and so are you, you're out bad now, a year after it happened. You know, or if you call another member that's been in just as long as you for 5 decades and ask him if there's anything that can be done about it, they'll try and put him out bad too. You know, they out bad is garbage. But I don't know. I've talked to a lot of people, and you guys be surprised. We'll see if the Hells Angels are even a club in 15 years from now, or just a memory. Like the way it's going right now, I don't know, man. Yeah. Well, it only takes one guy to hate you in your charter. That's true. That's very true. And if that guy has enough charisma and political tact and ability, and can one by one turn enough votes against you, then you're out of the club. And some of the guys that they call out bad, and it's not just the Hells Angels, it's mostly the Hells Angels though. To call some of these men out bad is downright fuckery and buffoonery. It's garbage, because they are more stand-up, better gentlemen gangsters. Like JP, come on, man, get out of here out bad. Kiss my ass. Call that man out bad. Nothing. That's a warrior, a soldier, and a gentleman gangster. You know, and it's full of them. It's full of them. Some of these men live longer than they, I can't say they should, obviously. Who would say something like that? But like, they live longer than is allowed to be able to be buried a member and have that on your headstone and be buried with your cut and all that, right? They live too long. You know, Bob V, he lived too long. Yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy.
All here in
that you know who would, because he did it.
And, so we got two issues here. And like I said, I'm talking off the record here, I hope.
Okay.
I don't want you to create a problem for me within my own organization, but...
Right.
Why would he even have to say that? That's a weird thing to say, too. Like, if he's not doing something wrong right here, why would he have to say, I hope we're talking off the record. I don't want to cause a problem with my own organization. I mean, he knows he's doing wrong right here. Talking to these cops the way he is. Right? It is what it is. Yeah, buying a hot bike, period. And come on now. Georgie was in the mix. Everybody says, even without George, though, everybody kind of co-signs on. Georgie was a biker. He was a Hell's Angel. He was about this life. I've heard stories of him dropping safes off of, the top of parking garages trying to open them and stuff. Like, the dude was a pirate. He was about that life. So I won't take nothing away from Georgie. They said that on his own, Georgie was a pirate. He was about this. And I look at what he did with the prescriptions. He had a friend who went into the military and happened to work in like the area that the prescriptions were being held, warehoused. And they sold like millions of prescriptions, of perks, things like that. Million. Yeah. And that's all Georgie. That's all Georgie working his little connection with his friend and shit like that. That dude was about that life. So Georgie knew. Come on, man. He knew. I half expected they all kind of knew. It was a Cave Creek member's bike, man. Come on, man.
He not only... Hold on a second, please.
Okay.
Vin, Daddy's still on the phone. Well, if you don't get dressed, then you can't go next door and get the cake mix, okay? Okay. Now I'm really dictating some power. That gentleman has a problem with you.
Uh-huh.
When I say you, I'm speaking on general terms with law enforcement.
Right.
He's going to have a problem within the club itself.
Yeah. Oh no, I knew. I figured that was coming. I mean.
Yeah, I mean, if he sold that bike and he knew at the time of the sale of that bike what he was doing, he's got a real problem.
Okay. Well, you'll find out later on because you guys will see the search warrants. They're sealed right now.
Right.
But when you see them, you'll understand.
Okay.
So I can't tell you much right now, obviously, but you'll know. So.
This is the deal.
I also want to point out he's talking to the cops without his lawyer. This isn't. The only criminals that talk to the cops without their lawyer are the ones who are like ashamed for their lawyer to hear them talking to the cops and what they're saying to them. In my opinion, or they just don't give a shit. That's possible too. Rebel's gonna be all up in this video. That's cool. All right. Yeah. Hey, listen. Here's what I'll say. I think George Christie was a better leader and a better brother in the motorcycle club in the Hells Angels than Sonny was. I said it. There. I said it. And Sonny was a good member, but Sonny would also eat his own. Sonny also did George totally wrong when he brought Z around, knowing that George had banned her from the club and then married her. Like, he would do things like that, right? That's not being a good club brother at all. At all. The guy that he put in charge of Cave Creek, look what happened to him. So somebody becomes the president in Cave Creek, and next thing you know, he's taken out. He gone to the upper room. Sonny would Sonny would sacrifice. He looked at some of his club brothers like pawns, and he would sacrifice them. And it would. He did, yeah. Yeah. It was messed up that he. It's messed up that he knew George had ousted Z and brought her back. And dared George to do something. And what? What are you going to do about it? Power does corrupt the best. It does. And I've always said that Sonny did George way dirty. I think both of them did enough to be put out of the club and out bad. 100%. If it was just from an outsider's perspective, but with a lot of insider information, you know, like, don't get into it. Like, I know a lot about what's happened and what it, you know, a lot. And there's so much I don't talk about. But there are people that they're either loyal to Sonny, loyal to George. And that's how that goes. If you badmouth one, you're going to have half the world hating you. And if you badmouth the other half will hate you. So the whole world can hate me because I think both of them did things that were terrible when it came to affecting the lives of their brothers. We'll just put it that way. Both of them did it. And then they got at each other about it. And then accused each other of making money off the club when they were both doing the same thing. Like George would say, oh, when Sonny went away, he handed over the torch basically to me and Irish to be the media. No. Everybody hated that Sonny did it, that George did it, and Irish to an extent did it. Like there was no passing the torch. The worst thing in the world for Sonny was knowing that George was out there on camera while he was fighting a case. You know, and you can't take anything from Sonny at all. Like, Sonny was a savage. That dude, he had like 5 or 6 confirmed bodies, right? That he faced trial on and was either acquitted or you know, however it worked out. But they found 2 prospects in his trunk in a national park, and he got into a car chase with the fish and game wildlife, the rangers, right? They open the trunk, they find 2 prospects. One of them's got his shit cut. He lived. Like, Sonny was driving them on out there to, you know, say goodbye. The dude's a gangster. He was a gangster. You can't take that from him. But he was, at times, not a very good club brother. Especially to George. Maybe he just didn't like George. Maybe because Sonny was like that and George wasn't. Like, maybe I'm off, but I've lived with killers my whole life, and I know when I see somebody if they're a killer, and George Christie is not a killer. And that's just the way it is. And maybe everybody around him who has that warrior gene in them probably didn't like him very much because they knew he wasn't about that life. Not like that. You know, would he get into dust-ups and fights? Sure. Did all of them know their, you know, martial arts or shit like that? Sure. But he ain't a killer. Yeah. Hey, yeah. Yeah, swap meet's a good place to go to get gently used secondhand items for your bike, Rob. That's a fact. I love me a swap meet. Oh, I love the griminess of it. You know, I used to sell stuff at the swap meet, allegedly, but now they got better ways to get rid of stuff. So, all right, let's keep going.
It's like we've been here 30 years. Coming up here next month. You guys are here. You're not going anywhere.
Right.
I mean, you know, you guys have a tremendous amount of money and support behind you.
Not really. I wish. I wish.
Well, then I have a misconception.
Yeah, you do, because we don't. It's not us that has money. The feds maybe have money. We don't have any money.
Right. But and we have a contingency of people that support us emotionally, sometimes financially, and whatnot. And we don't plan on going anywhere. And you know what? We don't want to be disrespectful to you guys. And I think there's someone's going to fill our void if we're gone.
Yeah.
And I think it's better that we be here.
Well,
you may disagree with me.
Yeah, because here's the problem I have, right?
Okay.
And I'll be straight up. The problem I have is that people get afraid to talk to us because they're afraid Hell's Angels will do something to them. Now, whether that's even true or not, it still is what the belief is, which, perception is reality. That's the perception out there.
Right, and perception perceived is perception,
Exactly.
Perceived.
Whether it's
perception conceived is,
Whether you guys really would do something to them or not doesn't really matter. That's what they think. And a lot of people think that. And then I got all these stupid kids running around in Oakview trying to impress Sabian, trying to impress Georgie, running around doing all kinds of crazy, stupid things, hurting people.
This is the thing. And I told Sharman this just yesterday, and the other officer that arrested me, I can't think of his name right.
Medina.
Yeah, good guy.
Yes, he is.
If you guys would open a line of communication with us, and you could do that through me, and I knew about some of this stuff going on up there, I could try to curtail it. I can't make somebody talk to you.
No, and it's not even that. What I want.
Violence. And,
yeah.
We can intercede somehow.
You're gonna have to change your stickers that you guys wear. You have to change all kinds of stuff to.
Y'all are gonna have to stop being you if you want this to work out. And he's like, well, we can do. I get it. There's nothing really detrimental to saying stuff like that, but you are kind of telling the cops, hey man, I'll work with you. We won't be outlaw bikers anymore. We want to be lawful, bikers, 1%ers. That's the life right there. That's the life right there. Your rivals are your rivals, and you guys hate each other, and you talk shit. And when you see each other, you get down, and then you go on about your life, dude. He is talking more to the cop, or more than the cop. He loves hearing himself. That's a fact. But that's kind of his get down.
You have to change all kinds of stuff to do that. I mean, you guys have stuff on bikes. Yeah, this is a Hell's Angels bike. Touch it and find out. That kind of attitude is what's translating to the kids. And so you'd have to change your whole culture.
Well, this is the thing.
You know what I mean?
This is the things that you guys need to come and talk to me about, or if someone is too proud, I'll come and talk to you guys about it.
Well, I'm just saying that there's
Call me, let me tell you, I've never put, and I have a different type of personality than a lot of people.
Yes, you do. I agree.
I've never had a sticker on my bike like that, or a T-shirt, like that. I like to get along with everybody.
Right.
And I've made a real attempt. But, just like this, like what you're telling me, I can sit down with my guys, and I can say to them, listen, guys, you know what? You're the first person that's ever said anything to me like that. And, a light just went on in my...
Come on, George. Come on, buddy. Boy, hey, this dude is laying it on thick. Look, I'm just as innocent. I'm a victim just like you, man. I've never heard of stuff like this before. Nobody's ever told me that the guys are rowdy in the club and doing the most. What do you mean the kids are looking at us like that? Come on, George. If you don't... That fool's... Hey, he's playing it. He's playing it, though. That's fine. I do that shit, too. I'll be the weakest motherfucker. Oh, can't talk right now type shit. But, or let them hit you when when you are weak. This dude right here is strong. He's with his mind, and he's still just. I can't believe Sabian would do something like that. Are you kidding me? I've never heard of this before. In my almost 40 years as a president, never heard that we're, the kids are looking up to us. Come on, George. Get out of here, buddy.
Some 15-year-old kid sees that, and he probably thinks, oh, I get the message. Somebody gives me a bad time, there's nothing to talk about. I'm just going to lump him up.
Yeah, that's the message they're getting.
And you know what? I can't speak for the club outside of this area.
Right.
But if you're having problems specifically up there in Oakview, these are the things that I can play a hand in. I can tell my guys, hey, you know what? Let's get them stickers off the bikes.
Yeah, I'm just telling you that there's just a whole perception out there, and
Hey, when is a biker ready to just give it all up? Like, hey, man, the cops, they're mad at us about our stickers on our bikes, guys. Like, if we don't take those off, we're going to be in trouble, right? They're going to come mess with us. Boy, if you're scared, go to church, fool. It is crazy. It is nuts, fool. Like, all right. That's fucking retarded.
in the community of what you guys are like. The little kids want to be like them, and they do stupid stuff to try to be like you guys. And it's a problem.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It's a problem. And I don't know how you could ever make that go away without becoming something completely different than what you guys are. I just don't see it.
Well,
but
I
maybe
disagree with you.
Yeah, maybe you can. I've met Mike Lynch. I've met Joe Cerezo. I'm naming off some of the people that are just completely disrespectful, rude people.
Yeah.
Peter Polk.
I'm completely
Peter Polk, the nicest guy in the world.
Right.
He won't tell you nothing, but he's completely respectful, and I got no problem with that. Peter Polk's like, as far as a Hell's Angel, Peter Polk's the most straight up guy I've ever met. You know that?
That's good to hear. Well, I'm glad to hear that because, he got his lessons here.
Yeah, well, he's a straight up guy. Joe Cerezo.
I'm totally shocked that you guys.
I mean, if you need to, if you like the way they act, man, I taught them. I just want to let you know. But if not, man, that's Sabian over there. That's his shit, dude. Like, I don't even know what to do about it. But, yeah, Peter Polk, that's all me, homie. I did that. I taught him how to act. Get out of here. I hate you. Fucking wow, lame.
I'm totally shocked that you guys told me that yesterday.
What?
That he's an asshole.
Who, Lynch? Cerezo? Oh, yeah,
I'm
was
totally in shock.
Well,
he's been nothing but a gentleman around me.
Well, he got caught with the stolen shotgun. That can upset people,
Yeah.
So, I don't know what. Maybe that's a rarity for him. It's my first time meeting him.
It's not a character for him.
Archie Schaefer today, completely nice.
Yeah.
When we searched his house.
Yeah.
So
well, he's starting to get
his dad.
Yeah.
A whole different person. His dad's a total. I don't even know how to say it, but he's very angry, mean person.
Really?
Yep, and he's wearing your.
Fuck my life. Damn, dude. Now, I don't know what the hell he said to this cop the day before, Archie Schaefer's dad. But it must have been something, because he said he is a very mean, he's not a nice guy. Oh, I can only imagine. He probably told him to go, go get after his own mom and everything, man. I'm telling you, this kid was traumatized by whatever that man said to him the day before. He is a very mean, just not a nice guy. That's awesome. Sorry, I had to stop it because I was laughing.
Telling me all kinds of rude stuff.
You guys got a job to do.
No, I know.
You came here yesterday to my house. Did I like it?
Of course not.
But you know what? I'm not going to be abrasive,
right?
Unless you guys are abrasive to me.
Yeah. Well, Sherman and I and our whole unit, we're very active, but we're not mean to anybody. You know what I mean? We don't call people names. We don't rough people up. We are completely nice, but we're very active, which makes some people mad.
Yeah.
But we're just here to do a job. Nothing about what we do is personal.
Right.
And it's not going to get that way.
Good. Well, I hope not.
I've worked with Chime for a long time. We dealt with the Mongols for a long time. And, still dealing with them, too.
Yeah. I don't really know. I talk to Tom every few months, and I talk to Doc out of L.A. He's their boss. At least he was. I think he still is. Just to keep a line of communication going.
Right.
Because I don't want anything to explode, no pun intended.
No, I agree. I think that's...
in the community.
Yeah, I think that's great.
And, I don't want to... I love Ventura. I love Ventura County. I don't want to impact it.
I believe you do.
Yeah, I do.
I believe that.
And, I've got this issue that I'm going to have to take care of. Obviously, the contraband I got caught with yesterday, and I don't know where this bike thing's heading, but, maybe, as I approach the judge and I try to get these things back, maybe I can work out some kind of community service. Maybe I can go talk to some of these people in some sort of setting that you're having problems with. And, as a over 30-year member, the Hells Angels, and a Hells Angel that's been...
He just offered to do the cop's job. Or not even really, I guess. I could stop it. Maybe some sort of community service in some sort of other setting. Well, you just offered to help the cops? What the fuck? Tony J. Jr. for sure. Just over here just saying the most. Like, it shocked me when I first listened to these. Because I was like, no, there's no way he's just said that. There's dry snitching, there's half stepping, there's all kinds of shit that goes on in the world, right? What's up, Nasty Nate? That's like saying, hey man, hey, we're caught. The cops see you, you can come out of those bushes now. Or say something that they can hear you say, but you weren't talking to them, so it's not snitching, right? Having your wife call the cops type shit. He is playing both sides. Is garbage. Like, either you're true to the club, or you're true to yourself, or you're true to the cop. And like, I think as he got closer to leaving the club, that dude, that's straight wet snitching for sure. And then he's offering up his services. That's crazy. Ooh. Right. So the tattoo shops, they had one that was open by the cops, right? The feds. They did the same thing. I tried to expose them out here, and they almost shut my channel down over it. For Sin City Inc. They opened up a cop shop. They had a couple of informants or a couple of people working for them, and they would bring in people. They would do dope deals or banger deals, things like that. And at the end, they would just arrest everybody and charge them, whatever it is they sold to the cops. That's what it was, right? It was basically a setup the whole time. And they opened up the same thing in Ventura, and then there was Tom's place, and then it's crazy. It's crazy. They went and they they took out one of the rival tattoo shops that had just opened up down the way. Now, George didn't tell them to do it. He would never tell them to do that. You can tell he's slick with the way he talks. You'll never catch that man absolutely 100% telling him, hey, man, go do this. He's too smart for that now. That's back in the day when he got caught up on tape trying to put a hit out on a club brother or something. That was the other Tom, actually, the other Tom that did tell. So after that dude ain't going to say nothing else. He'll just roundabout. Well, I wouldn't do it myself, but like, you know, I mean, I'm not here to tell you guys what to do. That would be his answer to, hey, do you want us to go do this? That type of deal. The dude's slick. He's a slickster.
You know, politically involved at the top, you know, for the last 20 years, tell them that, you know, that they're interpreting things in the wrong way.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, every few months somewhere in the country, a Hells Angel stabs somebody or shoots somebody. I mean, that's just the way it's gone for years.
And, well, to me, it seems like it's getting worse.
Yeah, I mean, and so that's a lot of people to try to turn around.
Well, I'm talking about, and I'm being selfish, you know, but I'm talking about our community.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not talking about...
But you wear the same patch as all those other people.
I understand.
George knows he's got no pull over telling anybody in any other charter what to do or how to conduct themselves. You know? So he says, oh, you know, I'm just talking about here in our community. That's all he has control over. But he's trying to act like he doesn't have control, too. He's trying to play it off like this is Sabian's show now. I'm just, you know, I'm just retired. I'm just there. I'm not telling anybody to do anything. You know, Sabian's being wild. Mike Lynch stole that bike from him. You know, like, come on, man.
All those other people.
I understand that, but
if our news was limited to here, I think that could make a difference. But, you know, Fox News, CNN, and Internet.
Each Hells Angel charter develops its own personality and character. Hold on a second.
Okay.
Hold on a second. Hey, Aubrey, I'm talking to...
That's true. That's absolutely true. You look at one charter and you look at another, and they will be night and day, 1,000,000%. You know, they're 1,000,000%, and they can be right up the street from each other. You know, it's different. There's some of them out there that are just like, damn, who picked you guys up? You know, and then, you know, there's others that are out there that are like, damn, that's how you act. Dago is one of those charters. That's how you act. You know, I got a lot of love for like Vallejo and Richmond still, you know, like that's how you act. And then there's other charters that are out there doing the most Rudy Poo shit. Like nobody liked Daly City for some reason for the longest time because they didn't like Robert Poland, I think. But Daly City used to catch hell. But there's some charters that have come and gone that have been just like, different in the whole get down. Their whole way was just so different. It was like, oh, this doesn't feel like the club. But each charter is different. They're wild. Some are dry and sober. Some are, you know, if you don't do these in front of me, I'm not even going to trust you. Aren't a cop. You know, like they're different. I'll tell you that much.
Horseman on the phone, so do you mind? I think that each Hells Angel charter has its own personality.
Yeah.
And I think that, you know, you go to one town and how a charter may deal with a situation is going to be different in the town and the next town over.
Well, I got 2 charters in my area.
Right. Well, we're trying to resolve that.
Yeah.
And
you know Tom Heath's back, right?
No comment.
All right.
I bet.
I'm just letting you know.
Yeah,
Hey, he shook his ass with that. He shook George by saying that. Just by mentioning Tom the Bomb's name. That's all he had to do. He shook his ass. That dude, hey, he everything that was on his mind left his brain. And that fool was like, all he could do was sit there and giggle and laugh while he collected his thoughts. Just by hearing Tom the Bomb's name. That shit was tight. These cops, hey, man, they're on him. They're on him. Canada has the highest HA. Hey, look, Canada has a superior way of get down. Those dudes up there, they get down. They do not play. And I'm telling you. And we can all thank one person for that. And it's not Sonny, as many people have said. It's Doc. Doc, those were all his prospects. The original charter in Canada were all Doc's prospects. That man went up there and put in all that time and all that work. So I need to say that too, because get tired of hearing that Sonny ran around the whole world just starting charters. No, he didn't. Very rarely. And he couldn't even get into Canada. That dude been a felon since the 60s. And he wasn't getting into Canada. That was Doc from Lowell. And then, he came to the West Coast, but that was Doc.
Here recently, but these guys are going to be Archie and Jess maybe staying if there are no problems.
Right.
Everybody else is going to be getting out up into the Santa Barbara County.
Okay. Well, I don't know what to say about Lynch, but we're still working on that one.
Okay.
But I don't know what to say. As far as your computer, we'll try to get that processed soon, and that can be released too as soon as you get the process.
Well, I just heard that part for the first time in my mind. I don't know what to say about Lynch. We're still working on that part. Like, what would you even say that to him? What's that even mean? Like, it's just a weird thing for him to say. Walter Stant. Yeah, Stant. He's dope. Let's see. No, not Doc Cavazo. No. Doc is a member that he started out over in the Boston area in Lowell. And he'd been in the club like 40-something years, almost 50 years, I think. And they just put him out for kissing the mother of a former member. The kid kept bringing his 60-something-year-old mom around. Doc's 60-something years old. You keep bringing her around to the parties, what's going to happen? And Doc wasn't even digging her. He was just like, no. And yeah, then a year later, after that dude's already out of the club, they used that to skirt Doc out of the club. It's bullshit. We'll talk about that, though. We'll let Doc tell his own story. Hey, Dago takes care of business. You ain't lying. You ain't lying. Both. The Mongols and the Hells Angels Dago charters are those are supreme charters right there. But Dago Red and White, legends. Guy and Whitey and just Aiden and all of them, they're just fucking crazy. Everybody's fighting all the time. That's it. Just everybody's got a problem. Let's figure it out right now. They Royal Rumble or whatever, and then they get on about their shit. You're S&P Sky for sure. But they have a way of being in Dago, and I don't know. That's the mark right there. That's the they set the bar, right? What happened to Doc Cavazos? He's running around, big ass ain't doing shit. You know, he's in witness protection, probably in Amish country or something. That dude's garbage. Roger Penny got hit 8 times. That dude's the sergeant at arms, and his P got hit 8 times in a dust up in Laughlin. Well, it was more than a dust up, in a riot in Laughlin. Like, dude, your only job is to protect that dude, and then you take his job when he is recovering from what you let happen to him, and then you just run the club into the ground. Like, that's Doc in a nutshell right there. That's it right there. Yeah, he's a fucking scumbag. But yeah, Sonoma. Hey, look, Sonoma. I love for Sonoma, man. And John. Ray is probably the last of the real, just Whitey from Dago type of pirates, right? Just a fucking pirates. Like Ray is the last of that kind. Rain Man for sure is he shouldn't be. Free Rain Man. JusticeReigns.com. Go there. Buy one of the shirts. Just do it. Right? And that's Reigns as in REIGHN or GNS, yeah. Reigns. So yeah. I mean, hey, Ray's been hitting the hustle since the hustle was born. Like, that dude's just into everything. So that's a different story for a different time. We've talked about that a lot. Hey, Mike Lynch is still a solid dude. Shout out Mike Lynch, by the way. And he kept it OG. He kept it G and still went to prison and then got caught, called no bad or no good. And, you know, it's bullshit, dude. That's bullshit. He rode for, well, I ain't going to say that. Never mind. You know, he didn't do nothing wrong. And then he got blamed for everything. Let's just put it that way. And he held it anyway. He said, okay, I'll take it. You know, he could have just easily opened his mouth and probably not even gone to prison at all. But he's better than that. So, no, Ray ain't never getting out.
I can be released too as soon as you get the process.
The Apple stuff. That's my wife's.
Okay.
I can wait on mine.
Okay. I'll be taking those Tuesday. Those will hit the people that take care of that stuff,
okay.
And then all they have to really do is copy stuff, and they can get it back to you. But I gotta get them to do it. It depends on their workload. So they've been pretty good though. So.
And as this thing makes its way through the court system. I'm sincere about what I said about I know you're looking at this as the way modern society is with news and whatnot, but I think that we can impact the community here.
Well, I'm always a wait and see guy. I certainly don't think it could harm things.
Well, see, a lot of the stuff is surprising to me.
Yeah.
I don't live in Oakview. Oakview's kind of its own little area and clique, and I don't know what's going on. Like Shireman rattled off 5 or 6 events of violence to me yesterday. I didn't even know anything about it.
Yeah. Well, maybe the guys are trying to keep it from you. I don't know.
Well, that very well may be, but if that's the case, maybe we need to open a line of communications between us, and if it's been because of pride or whatever in the past, I don't take it that we've had that problem on the Ventura PD from time to time. I've always had a good line of communication. Every once in a while somebody gets involved that it's and excuse my language, but their attitude is fuck those guys. We don't have to answer to them. We're law enforcement, and that's our job, and we're not involved in them. But there's been times when they've been very candid with us, and we've stopped a lot of problems and issues.
Yeah.
And
well, we don't investigate stuff until we find crime. So that's how we work. We're not going to be out trying to just fish things up. But we find there's a crime, we investigate it, and like I said, we're pretty active, as you can probably tell.
Yeah, I see that.
But at the same time, we don't just fish around when there's no crime to be trying to find a crime. We don't do that. When something comes to our attention, we go after it.
I would be willing to make an earnest attempt to try to end some of these issues that seem to be aggravating you guys up there.
Yeah, well, I really think
motherfucking Samuel L. Jackson from Django Unchained, but white-looking motherfucker. Are you kidding me? He like, I'll make an earnest attempt at not being a biker and telling my biker buddies not to be bikers anymore. If we could just keep you guys from like arresting me all the time, I'll do that for you. What the fuck? He just offered to work for the cops. For real. He just offered to work for, hey, you just call me when my boys call Centura. This ain't football. This ain't Friday Night Lights, dude. This ain't, you got a problem with my boys? I'll talk to them type shit. This is bikers. This is outlaws. This is, I'll make sure they don't do it. Yeah, man. You better get out of here, Georgie.
I really think you're going to have to, I mean, I don't know that you're going to have any control over it. It's going to take Sabian trying to be a tough guy all the time. It's going to take, that's what it's going to take. It's going to take Georgie and those guys, not acting the way they act, running around like, if anybody looks at them wrong, they're going to get throttled,
Okay, well, see, these are the things that I need to know about. I kind of thought they grew out of that stage.
Well, you got a guy, Sabian, for instance, that went to prison for the club for selling drugs, went to prison for stabbing a prospect, and now you guys make him president.
He wasn't a prospect, that guy.
Well, he hang around whatever he was. But
he was just a friend, actually,
well,
to be honest with you.
And now you make Sabian the president. You see what I'm saying? You see the message that sends?
Well,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand that. But you also have to understand...
I'll say it because I ain't in the club. Sabian had no chill. That dude's just getting off where he's mad at. He didn't give a shit. He said, he wasn't no prospect. He said, well, hang around. He said, no, he's his friend. Sabian out there taking everybody, putting them up. That is crazy. But again, he's co-signing on Sabian running around doing stuff that they do. Like when George got in the club, they would just raid cities and towns, wouldn't they? Like they would just come in and start slapping fools and drinking beer, right? Like what happened to those days? What happened to the days of the concerts? Right? Where you're over there throttling the whole first row because, one of the dudes told you to move so he could see the band. That type of shit. Like, you ain't about that life no more, huh? Yeah. What happened to Costa Mesa? Right? Like, it was okay then, right? It was okay. But now it's not. George wants to talk about the tough guy. Old school days, but then he's over here telling the cops that he's going to try and curtail it. And that's not who we are. That's exactly who the fuck you are. And if you're not, you need to leave the club because it ain't for you. They make sidewalks because the streets ain't for everybody, George. That's the way it is.
Somebody's in there that has been through the mill and is still here holding his own. So what you're saying has a lot of credence from the outside looking in.
Right.
But do you understand what I'm saying?
Well, no, and you have different goals on what kind of people you want. I understand that. I mean, you want somebody that's going to be loyal to the club.
Right.
And, but part of the problem I see is they commit crimes that benefit the club.
Well, I'm hoping that Sabian isn't doing that.
Well, I'm talking about the stabbing and the pill dealing.
But you yourself have to understand that, you know, he went through the judicial system, you know, paid his debt to society and came back. Now, it's up to him, and I thought he was doing this. I thought he's working. He's got a girlfriend that I think soon he's going to marry, and they have a child.
No, I understand that. All I'm saying is that from the community's point of view, you have a guy that went to prison for the club twice, and now you guys make him president, and he did some bad stuff. People, you know, somebody got hurt real bad.
He did, but
you know.
But you have to agree with me. I mean, you know, society establishes, you know.
Absolutely.
He did, you know, he did make his penance. And,
yes, I agree. He did his time, and
if he is doing things that he shouldn't be doing now, he's wrong.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying from a public perception thing. I just hate to see those kids look at that kind of behavior and see it get rewarded.
I think that I understand what you're saying, but let me ponder everything you've been telling me.
Okay, sounds good.
And,
I got to get going home anyway.
Okay, but you know, some of the things you're saying are troubling me.
Okay.
And I'm not giving you a line of crap.
Well,
you know?
I'm just being honest with you.
And I'm being honest with you.
Okay.
You know, some of the things you're saying, you're reinforcing everything that Shireman and what was the other? I got this short
Medina.
Medina, yeah. That Medina told me yesterday.
Okay.
And is this? Let me look at this number I called. Was the number I called earlier? How can I get a hold of you?
I'll give you my office phone number.
Okay, hold on.
There you go, right there, Rebel. The number I called earlier. I told you he called them. Like everybody says, oh, they called him and he just answered the phone and talked to him without his lawyer. No, the number I called earlier. Is this the number that I called earlier?
I'll give you my office phone number.
Okay, hold on. Okay.
It's 677.
6677?
No, 677.
677?
8771.
8771?
Yep.
You have to call that number, see if it still works.
You're...
Paris.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Sergeant. You're Sergeant.
Senior deputy.
Senior deputy. Yeah. Were you at my house yesterday?
I came at the very end. I was over at Joe's house, and then I came at the very end.
Okay. One last thing, and I'll let you go.
Okay.
I guess what I'll do is I'll talk to you about my computers. When should I wait till Tuesday?
I'm gonna be gone next week. My guys will be taking care of it. But I'll be back the Tuesday after that, yes.
Okay.
So a week from Tuesday.
Would you mention to them about possibly expediting the
Yeah, I'll tell them they need to get.
for my wife?
I'll tell them they need to get down there Tuesday. But as far as the other things, you have to talk to the judge.
I will.
I can use a
And
computer.
let me ask you this. If I stipulated in court to the judge that I was still a member in good standing in the Hells Angels, a possibility of getting my patch back?
That's up to the judge.
Okay.
It's totally up to the judge. And
Okay.
he
That's
made.
fair enough.
Now, that little part sounded, I don't know, it sounds bad. If I stipulate to the judge, can I get my patch back? That's just saying, yeah, I'm a Hells Angel. You know, he's already a security threat group. He runs around with a Hells Angel cut on with the president's flash on light. They already know that. But for him to, in open court, say that, you know, you're not supposed to, I don't know. You're not supposed to say that you're part of anything. But I don't see nothing wrong with him trying to stipulate to get his patch back. But that's all he cares about because it was an original Betty. That's why he cares. You know, that's the only reason, I'm sure. He already knows he's kind of on his way out anyway. He's very tactful in the way he says things, but he also just low-key undercuts and shits on everybody that they talk about. And cosigns, you know, that Mike Lynch is the one who stole or had the stolen bike and sold it to Georgie. And what happens when they try and link Mike Lynch to the Cave Creek member? Like, they didn't, because there's nothing there. But what if they did? I'm sure they did try. You just made Mike Lynch's life harder. You just have them looking at him like and it's because you co-signed when you said, oh yeah, you already know who was arrested for that. You already know who did that. Like, come on, man, get out of here, bro. But stipulating for his patch, I get it. I get why he's asking about that, and there's no real repercussion to stipulating that you're a member. That's just weird, man. He's just weird. And why would you ask the cop that? Like, that's a judge. That cop ain't gonna do shit for you.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
Thanks for calling me. It's been insightful.
No problem. I'll talk to you in a week and a half or so.
Okay. Yeah, and I want to talk again.
Okay.
Maybe I'll come down and I'll talk to you in Sherman.
Sounds good.
Okay.
All right. Bye.
You have the right to remain silent.
He's
Do you
gonna
understand?
come down now.
Yeah. Anything you say may be used against you in a court. Do you understand?
All right. So that's George talking to the detectives in Ventura, right? Co-signing on some people's crimes, playing stupid on others. Like, woe is me. What are you talking about? I step back. That's Sabian. Sabian caught it the worst, I think. No, he didn't get the call, and you just heard him say, is that the same number that I called? Yeah. So he called them without his lawyer the day after being arrested, trying to make concessions to be in the good graces with the police, because he's been compromised now, as he would say. He's been compromised when it comes to him and the cops. So this next part, this is, like I said, this guy was a prospect. He was arrested because somebody had told the cops that that's where the stolen bikes were, or that's where that this dude was known for holding on to stolen bikes. So they went and they arrested him. This dude held his mud. He did great. He did great. He didn't give up no game. I just want to throw this in there too, because they do mention George Christie in interrogating this young man at the time. He's a grown ass man, but now he's an older man. But he was just a youngster back then, and he held his mud really well. This ring does have a lot of respect for the 1%. Oh well, hey, I don't know about all that.
You have the right to remain silent. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Anything you say may be used against you in a court. Do you understand?
Yeah.
You have the right to talk to an attorney and have one present with you before and while being questioned. Do you understand?
Yes.
If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed to represent.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. You're not in the club anymore, right?
No, man.
Do you know why we're here?
No.
No idea.
No.
You used to have 2 bikes that were keeping in your house until you got kicked out of the club, and then you took them.
I didn't get kicked out. I left.
Okay.
My own terms.
You had 2 bikes that George asked you to. Big Daddy asked you. We arrested him, right?
No.
George Christie Sr.
No. I have no non-association, dude. I haven't talked to those guys in months.
We arrested him. What day was that? Last Saturday?
Friday.
Friday? Okay. He says that he asked you to keep 2 bikes here, and when you left the club, you took them over to Aaron's house.
He knew a lot of facts right there. He says that he told you to hold on to these 2 bikes for him and then take them over to Aaron's house. Yeah. Okay. Hey, yeah, and like the Vancouver area, I saw that. Whoever said that, let's address that too. Are connected. A bunch of crews, here in the BC area are connected to the Hells Angels now. That's very true, because the Hells Angels were the only ones over there too, for the most part, besides those homegrown, village clubs basically, which all kind of got absorbed anyway, right? They'd have rivals and they'd say, we're gonna find out who's who and who's better suited, and we'll absorb that club. Whatever the fuck that noise is. So, sorry, there was a weird noise. My dog's looking. Anyway, on the other side of the country in Canada, they're not having so much, rapport when it comes to the street gangs, though. That's a fact. Look at, what is it, Blood Family Mafia or whatever? That got ugly real quick, but I try not to speak on stuff like that too much because I got a lot of respect for the Canadian charters. Their get down's pretty premier. So anyway, this kid just got pulled by the cops and said George Christie Sr. asked for you to hold these 2 bikes here, one of them being the Road Glide that belonged to the Cave Creek member that's missing in Sonny's charter that was in Georgie's possession, and Mike Lynch is being blamed for stealing the bike or selling the stolen bike or whatever. George Christie talks to the cops, told him, you gave him too much information. A lot of information. And then you took it over to Aaron's house. Like, come on, man.
All I have is my bikes, and that's it. I've never taken a bike anywhere or nothing. I don't have nothing to do with any bikes, dude. My bikes are clean.
When you were a prospect, you didn't have 2 other Harley Davidsons here?
No, dude.
So I guess George Christie's lying then when he said they were over here.
Hey, I don't know what he said. I'm just telling you that those are my bikes.
I'm not
My
talking
mom
about
bought me
those
the
bikes.
bikes.
I'm talking about
the
the
only
2
bikes that have been here, man. I'm
talking about the 2 bikes that you took to Aaron McIntosh's house. Okay?
I never took
And then
any
you went
bikes.
over there and you wiped them all down. You remember that?
No, I didn't. That wasn't me, dude.
Okay, who was it then?
I don't know, but I haven't even been to Aaron's house, dude.
Never.
Okay? I've been there one time.
So the cops will make up a lot of shit, right? They'll be in one room telling you that your boy's telling on you. And you know what I'm saying? They're allowed to lie. People think the cops can't lie. Cops can absolutely lie the entire time to you when they're investigating something. They don't got any kind of code that tells them that they have to tell the truth. They can flat out lie to you. So everybody needs to know that part first. Second of all, that's way too many details to know for them cops to be lying about it, right? He told you to wipe him down, take him over to Aaron McIntosh's, right? Like, okay, well, yeah, okay. He said, she said, right. That's a fact. But, and then he's like, and then y'all went over for a barbecue or whatever. Like, I mean, of course they're watching, but come on, man. Like you just know too much. Like, I don't know. I'll find it. George is slick though, and his daughter's a lawyer, so like those tapes might be long gone though. They might be in the bottom of the ocean by now.
But I haven't even been to Aaron's house, dude.
Never.
Okay? I've been there one time for a barbecue that was there about 20 minutes, okay? That's it. I don't have anything to do with those guys now, okay? Or any motorcycles or anything to do with them. My bikes are my bikes. They've been here, they've stayed here, and that's it.
Why did you leave the club?
Because of my little girl.
When you were a prospect, you didn't have 2 other Harley Davidsons here?
No, dude.
So I guess George Christie's lying then when he said they were over here.
Came to a climax. The police were looking for him, and they came.
So that's just, and then it just tries to jump in there and repeat itself. So there's what we have for those tapes right there. I am going to find the interrogation where he talks about the bikes being held at this man's house. I'm not going off of that little tape. That's just an added bonus, right? That's just an added bonus. Yeah, the cop called out Christie. He did. He called him by his name, a senior too. He didn't say he didn't. He made sure that they knew. They called him Big Daddy for a minute too. Oh, listen, the minute a grown man tells you call him Big Daddy, you better get the fuck out of here. I ain't calling nobody that ever in my life, dude. You don't have to kill me. That dude called him Big Daddy. What the fuck is wrong with these people? But him blowing up Christie is weird. It's very weird. Maybe they felt like they needed that kid to co-sign on those bikes being at his house to seal the deal on Mike Lynch. Maybe. I don't know. Georgie didn't get no time out of this, though. Georgie didn't go to prison. Mike Lynch did. So the person they found with the bike, nah, you're cool, bro. Chill. Sit back. Big Daddy got you. Come on, man. Meanwhile, the dude that they're saying gave them the bike, he'd go down for it, though. Come on, man. That's different. That's different in a whole different kind of spectrum, too. And that dude is on some shit. He's... Let's see what yeah. Damn, that's forever. All right. Pee-wee's new interview. Yeah. For sure. So there's a couple of other channels that are trying to reproduce my, I guess, recipe, you would call it. I don't know. I don't worry about them. I have people that are like, oh my God, look at this channel over here is like getting every single person that you ever interviewed, and they're trying to do the same thing, right? So club's not calling them when something happens. You know what I'm saying? They're not getting information before the news do, before like that shit don't bother me. Imitation is the purest form of flattery, right? Like that shit don't bother me at all. Because they can't do what I do. I've made connections my entire life because I've been in the streets my entire life. You can't replicate that. And that's just all there is to it. You know? It doesn't just stop with somebody who wants to tell their story about their time in the club. It does for them. That's the only place they can pick up and stop it. For me, I'm still talking to members. You know, I'm still very, very careful about what I say or what I speak on, or when I speak on it. Everything is very, very carefully organized. Like certain day, certain time, certain say this, don't say this. Like because I'm not out here to trip the clubs up. Actually, I'm out here to try and help the clubs, make them better, right? And I take that very seriously. Like other people, like, old Hollywood's busted ass asking Shady from the Water Dogs who shot first. Like, come on, bro. You just asked him something that could get that man 20 years. You don't know. You just asked that man to indict himself in something that happened the day before. And you're supposed to be a 1%er. Like, you don't do that. And I won't do that. And like I did, I told him, hey, don't answer that, right? And I'm not just taking a shot at Hollywood. That I'm just using that as an excuse or as an example. Like a lot of these dudes, let them take the info and run with it, right? Like that don't bother me one bit because you can't. I am uniquely me, right? My personality is me. I've been going through a lot in my life for the last 18 months. I've taken a lot of hits. I've had people that swear to God that they got my back 10 toes down and love me, lie to me, and leave, right? And just, I've had people that are the world to me die every 2 to 3 weeks for the last 18 months. And in the most inopportune, like, I needed you moments, right? Like, I've had fuck shit happen. And I'm doing a video on that. But even through all that, I was still managed to keep it together, to keep club business. Whatever needs to stay club business, stays club business, and whatever doesn't. Unless you're talking about the Nomads and Slick and Tattoo Face. I don't care. I'm going to say what I say because they're pieces of shit. But, everything I do is... especially when it comes to Hells Angels, I'm trying to fucking help expose the dudes who are killing it. They're killing it. That's what they're doing. They're killing that club. And it's more rapid now. So I call it what it is because I'm not scared. Ain't no man gonna scare me. I don't give a fuck. Come get it. Like Tyson twice. I don't care. I ain't afraid to die. Especially when I'm standing on something that's right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I mean, and they do. They've had sit downs with my people. They have tried to threaten, and then when they found out that wouldn't work, and the backing, like I am who I am, and the people that see what I'm doing and appreciate it, or the people that are my people, like it's mutually assured destruction when it comes to me. I'm very careful about what I say, but somebody wants to come do something to me about it, come get it. Like, it's gonna cost you too. I don't care. But yeah, when it comes to these other people doing stories that I do, or there's a whole channel out there that steals my script, basically puts it into AI and kicks out with the AI voice my stories. Like I did the top worst brothers of all time or something, right? And BMF, I love you, brother. I'm gonna call you, and I know you're awake, so you got to answer your phone. Kicks out. I did the top worst brothers for every, in club history period, any motorcycle club, and I never said number one's name, right? So these fools took. Hey, these are people that some of you have heard of, some of you have never heard of, right? And I explained kind of why they were the biggest pieces of shit in the motorcycle club world. This dude took my exact script, ran off of it with AI, spit out this garbage ass bullshit, and he couldn't do my number one guy though, right? So he had to do the top 5 because I did 6. And you can go on there and look. Like, I don't care. Go watch their shit too, right? I don't mind, because it doesn't bother me. It's weird. It's weird that people they see you as being weak, so they're copying. No, they see me as being strong, and they're copying me. They see a winning recipe, right? They see something that I'm doing, and they think that they can jump on that and replicate it just a little bit, and it will help them to grow. And I don't mind it. Do that. It don't bother me. You know, I don't look at what another man's got, and covet it and say, I gotta go get that. I just know what I want, and I go get that, or I try. I die trying. And lately, I've been taking a lot of losses, so it's been ugly dying lately. But yeah, I just need to address that too. Shout out to Pee Wee, who's out there doing a whirlwind tour. He was on Vlad. He was on, everywhere he could try to get his story out there. I'm glad, because that man wouldn't speak at all to anybody ever about any of this, and now he is, and that's good. It's therapy, Mm-hmm. Yeah, hey, that's it right there too. I got a lot of dudes that when this shit finally came out, like, I was right. And one of them being Tattoo Face. I don't spike the ball. I haven't talked about it on the internet. This is the first time I'm actually addressing it. But I told you guys that dude's a piece of shit. And you guys found out, and you're not supposed to listen to the internet guy anyway. So what the fuck? Me saying it doesn't matter, right? But at least it lends to it. Like, I don't just pick a target and say, I'm going to go after this dude from this club for no reason, right? Like, a lot went into I was after Tattoo Face first. I'll say that. That was my original guy. That's who I know I was going after. And to put him on an island, I went after his best friend, Slick. And then I found out Slick was dirtier than he was. And that's the truth. There's a little truth for you guys. And that's why I've been on Slick. It's just been on. Right? That dude's a piece of shit. And he always will be. If you don't like it, come do something. Shut me up then, Slick. Be the first one through the gate, though. Don't be chicken shit. We can go together, bud. Because I'm willing to die behind mine. You better believe it. And you better be too. Yeah, talking about the other team, I mean, I've gotten to know a few men from the other side. And, well, they say the other side, right? From the Mongols. I got a lot of love for the dudes. They've been nothing but straight up with me the whole time. You know, they're not on no funky bullshit. To be honest with you, you don't hear about them taking their own members out. You know, there's something to it. There's something I said like a year ago, that more Hells Angels have died at the hands of other Hells Angels than any other club combined, or all the other clubs combined, in the last 10 years. That's insanity. That is craziness. Either they need to tighten up, they need to, I think they need a retirement plan. Let these guys go out righteous. The men who built and bled for this club to become what it is are being called no good now because they got too old. They were just too stubborn to die at a good enough, early enough age to not be looked at like they are a hindrance inside of their clubhouse. Let's call it what it is. You get a bunch of guys who have heard the stories and they're like, "Ah, fuck, here he goes telling his story again," right? And they lose the history of it all. And that's what's happening with the Hells Angels. They just, a bunch of 5-year members get together and kick out a 50-year member. Like, the club's not going to last. Who's going to tell you not to do something that it's going to cause you to be indicted in a RICO if you do? You don't got nobody there that's done it before because you kicked them out. Because what? You wanted power? You were tired of hearing the old man talk, or something? He knew too much, or he's getting old and senile and you don't want somebody to come up on him and take his cut. These are all things that are routine. And I think that's bullshit. That some men like Bert and Doc and Robert Poland, and Howie, they're not going to be buried as Hells Angels. And they are Hells Angels. They are the Hells Angels. They're the ones who started this shit up and fucking kept it going, right? They're the ones that give you the ability to go run around with your chest puffed out when you ain't won a fucking fight in a long time because you get your ass kicked because you guys are weak right now in the eyes of everybody in the motorcycle club world. And this is me talking real. And you are, because these idiots are running around making you look bad because like they're not the men they're kicking out. I promise you that. Then they got the nerve to say they're bad. Whatever. Y'all ain't half of the men that they used to be or are today. That's a fact. Now, there are great men still in the club. And there are youngsters that are in this club that are fucking amazing. Right? But they are fighting a losing battle trying to keep it all together while these dudes burn it all down. And that's the Hells Angels in a nutshell today. So that's my thoughts. Thank you for coming to Vegas Profile Stories. I appreciate each and every one of you. I hope you guys have an amazing day, and I'll see you next time.